This video is on how to enter in your service logs. There are two versions of the service logs in here. One version is the individual version, where you would go to this, first select the student, and then you would go to Student Info, Data Collection and Progress, Service Log. The other is by going to Reporting, Service Log. Now, the Reporting Service Log is where you would get all of the service logs for your found set or for your caseload. I'm going to go back to my individual service log by going to selecting the student, and it will jump me right into that student service log. So this is Siras Service Log, and you can see that it looks like this pathologist has been working on the student, and we're going to add a new service log by clicking on Create Service Log up here. And under Type of Service is automatically entered. It's the default. And that will provide you with the goal down here, the service line up here, and the progress report information. In service delivered, it is required that you will fill out your progress report information. The notes section here is never required. It is optional. And there are other options under types of service called service delivered without progress. And it removes the section to record the student's progress, but does leave the service line, the goal that's related to that service. Another option is supplemental services. That removes the service line. It removes the goal and the progress information. It only leaves the notes. All of the other options in here will also just leave the notes. It will not include the service or the goals for that service, just the notes section. I want to put it back to service delivered, as that is normally what you would select. Down here you can see where it says session delivery. It's for an individual. However, I can select group, consult, makeup, absent, or unexcused, absent, or refused. If I select absent, you'll see that the only thing that is left is the notes. Why? Because the student isn't at school, and so there's nothing to, no progress to record. I'll put it back to individual. Down here, you can select there are 3 goals related to this particular service here. And I can unselect it. Maybe I can select another goal, or I can select 2 at once. Further down, it says progress, and there's a slider. This slider controls the graph. Later, after this particular log has been completed, we'll show you a graph, and that graph that we're going to show you is connected to this progress slider. So I'm going to move that to maybe 77%. How about that? And we'll enter in 77% for accuracy. Usually that might be the same. Some people add something else to the accuracy, so we don't really auto-enter it. And then you have the consistency, which is 10 out of 10, and progress, we'll say making great progress. And then you can add notes in here. The notes is optional. The progress is not optional though. And then when I'm done, I click on Validate and Save. And then you could see up here, here's the line that I just entered. You can always review it by clicking on View Details. This is the log that I just entered. I can edit it, I can delete it, or I can just simply close it. Up here, it says Generate Progress Graph. That slider that I showed you before, well, that will then point graphs in here, and you can graph the progress of the student based on that slider, based on the progress column in here. Closing the graph, and then you can go ahead and print this log and maybe provide it to the parent during their next IEP meeting. One thing to be aware of is once you have a new IEP meeting, the service logs associated with the old IEP will be archived, and then you'll be ready to write a new series of logs for the new IEP that's just been developed. Now let's talk about developing group logs. In other words, what we want to do is log a bunch of services of a group of students en masse. Makes it a lot more efficient than doing it individually. This is very useful if you are like a resource teacher and you might have like some 20 kids and you just kind of want to log all at once that of the students that you've provided services to. Or if you're a speech teacher and you've got a group of maybe 4 or 5 kids coming in once a week, that you can go ahead and log their services en masse, making it more efficient. To do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the service log. Right now, where it says select group, we've got one group already called the Wizards. And if I select the Wizards, here are the students that are part of the Wizards. And then I can go ahead and click on Create Service Log. And you can see that it brings up a page, and on all the pages it brings up the students and the logs for each one of the students. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, and we're going to create a new group of students. To do that, I click on Create New Group. It opens up the Choose Student list. I go ahead and select the students I want to be on that list. Add student. And I want to call this the Redbirds. Okay, so at any time you can indicate whether you want to work with the Wizards or you can work with the Redbirds. The Redbirds don't have any service logs in them because we haven't started one yet. So to do that, I click on Create Service Log. And if you are a speech teacher, let's say, and you see these kids maybe once a week or something, you might want to leave type of service as service delivered. And then you can select speech, and you can work on the speech goals for those students. However, and with those, you'll see that the progress, the goal, and underneath that you can see that the progress section is there, as well as the notes for each one of the kids. And so after you have a session with the students, you would go in and you would indicate for each one of them the progress that they've made, the accuracy, the consistency, and comments. However, if you are a resource teacher and you see these kids every day, maybe in this case you don't want to indicate the progress for every student for every day. Maybe you want to do it once a week, or maybe you never want to do it. You just want to log how many times you've seen the kid and provided services without any indication of progress report. What you can do is select here, service delivered without progress report, and I'm going to enter a service in the past here. And we'll start it off with 1 o'clock through 2 o'clock is probably when they're receiving speech and language, or a resource. So that's why I changed it to specialized academic instruction. And in this, you can see, because I selected without progress report under the service type, it removes the need to indicate the progress of each of the students. If you just want to leave it like that, as a matter of fact, you can even select supplemental services, and in this case you're just getting the notes. So if you want to, you can indicate some notes for each one of the students. Oh, maybe this student was absent today, so I can select absent, and you don't have to put notes in there. It's completely optional, and I click on validate and save. Now I'm ready to do another service log, so I click on this, and you can see it auto enters the information from before, and the same time, everything. I'll put a date in here, and now I click on validate. I don't have to do anything, and I could do another service log. And then maybe I'll do another one. Let's say it's my service log that I'm doing on Friday, and in this case I do want to indicate for each student how they did that week. I can do that by selecting service delivered, and in that case I can go ahead and enter in the sliding bar. 70%, 5 out of 10, or let's say consistency for 1 hour. Progress, making good progress. And you can put some notes in there if you'd like. If you want to say that you're working on a particular goal, you don't have to. You can leave it empty. But if you are working on a particular goal, you can select that. You can even work on 2 goals. In this case, I don't want to select a goal, so I'll just put the slider just to show you that you're not obligated to select an associated goal. But if you have entered in services delivered under the service type up here, you do need to put in a progress slider, accuracy and consistency. And we'll do that, finish this off, and maybe I'll put some notes in there. I click on validate and save. And now you see the whole list of the students, the Redbirds that were assigned. You can see here that the last progress in here done on 11/30, we went ahead and entered in a progress, but on all the other ones for that week, there is no progress entered. You can also do reports and queries on those service logs by going to Reporting, Service Log. Under Edit Search Criteria, opening this up will give you a search criterias that you can use for developing specific kinds of service log reports for a number of services, or the provider, or the type of session that you delivered. Under the log date, this is also where you would be able to capture your the archived services that may have been archived because the IEP has been completed and you're wanting to look at previous logs from previous IEPs.